Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. I was working on a Quilly project today and I got some questions about how to make Quillies. Super, super easy. Quillies look like this. These are made of sweater material, so I'm going to show you this because they're a little bit larger scale to learn from. But it's basically like a little cinnamon bun or a little cinnamon roll of whatever material you choose. Like I said, these are cut up sweaters and I'm going to make one of those, but you could likewise make it out of your wool strips. I wouldn't make it out of strips that are too small, too narrow, like threes, fours, because it's just going to make a tiny, tiny, tiny unit. But you're basically just taking, and I'm going to show you with the larger one in more detail, but you're just taking two or more colors together. You can certainly do as many as you want. That's going to kind of amp up the size of the quilly. But you're rolling them together like this, super, super easy. This is going to look like a little peppermint, isn't it? Because it's like red and kind of a white color. So this is how it's done, as simple as that. I'm going to actually show you with the sweater material. With the sweater material, I'm just cutting it, pretty sweater pieces like this that I just love the color of them, right? And sometimes I hook with them and sometimes I'm looking for other stuff to do with them. And these are different weights too. So is that going to be a problem? That's not going to be a problem. It's going to maybe add to the interest of it. So I'm just putting together some quilly pieces that I cut with scissors that are similar size. Are they exactly the same size? They're definitely not the same size. Just cut with scissors. And I put them together like this. And same thing, right? I'm kind of rolling them like this. Like I'm making little pastries or pastas or something exciting like that. And what can you do with quillies? Well, you can drop them into your rug hooking projects or your latch projects or whatever. They make little circles. So wherever you see in the sky, in the grass, little flowers, little buds, inside a flower vase, the opportunity for something that's shaped like a little circle or a little rosette like this, little deco rosette, wherever you see that as a possibility, well, there's a quilly idea, right? There's an idea for your quilly composition. Some people make whole rugs of quillies, and those are called standing rugs because the wool is kind of standing up on its end, right? That's why they're called standing rugs. But you can also attach them together almost like a doily, like a little lacy Valentine doily with no backing. But it's very easy to attach them with a needle and thread onto your backing because your backing is just more fabric, isn't it? So this is a very large quilly. I don't know if I would want one this large, but I might if it was like a standalone. You know, I've seen people lining drawers, like empty drawers and things, with a bunch of quilly just squeezed in there, probably glued in there, and or sewn onto a backing fabric. That would be super pretty too. Talk about eye candy, right? So you can see when I come to the end of the quilly that I have different lengths, which is no big deal. Who cares, right? I probably want to resolve it in a way that makes sense. And I don't have my scissors with me at this moment, but I'm gonna do like that, right? And then I'm gonna take, I should have thought of this first. I'm gonna stab it through here. You just need to tack them, right? And this is a doll needle, the one I'm holding, right? This is so long. Doll's needles are super, super long. The reason I like them for quilly, I usually don't make quilly units that are this big, but a doll's needle has to be huge because it goes like right through the doll's body, doesn't it? Ouch. But in this case, it works really well for a quilly. And what I would do, I just have, this is regular thread. I just pulled it off the sewing machine. Regular thread, you could use any kind of thread, of course. And you just need a big enough needle for how you picture your quillies. If your quillies are like this size, obviously you don't need a doll's needle. You could just use a regular sewing needle, tapestry needle if your material is like open and loose enough to get that needle through, because of course tapestry needles have very dull tips. So I'm just putting, not a double knot, many knots in this because I'm using sweater material. And we know that that's a super open kind of weavy texture, right? Then a small knot is just going to disappear right into it and it's not going to hold the quilly in place. You can tack your quilly in more than one place. It really depends on what you're doing with it. I typically tack my quillies once across the way I'm doing it right now. And it's just going to look like this, right? And then I'm going to come to this end. I'm going to cut my thing and I'm going to tie it off here and I'm going to clip this down. And I'm going to use this quilly for basically whatever I want. You could use it as like a decorative lollipop or in a three-dimensional thing. And you can also take your scissors, right? Because it's not absolutely perfect. Nothing I do is absolutely perfect. These are thrift crafts, right? I could take my scissors and just trim it down if it was bothering me that there's a little height difference here. If it doesn't bother you, you just keep going, right? But if it does bother you, you can trim it down like a little lawn, right? Little mow right here. Get it just right. But it's as easy as that. It's just winding it up, putting a stitch through to hold it, trimming it down if you want it trimmed down, and then thinking about how you might want to use your quillies, because they are super fun. They're super fun. They're super colorful. They're great eye candy. And you can make them out of basically any kind of material that you have. It's just keep the scraps, right? These are like, this is the end of the scrap stuff. This is like the last little bits. They can turn into these guys and make your projects really pop. I will see you next time at Ribbon Candy Hooking. Take care.